we're going to answer a question, get some information, and cut that body up into saleable meat. And we're here today to try and present one case study which presents real life information to put into that mix of information and follow it through an independent and audited sort of process.
We allow 3 ribs on the chuck, so prior to doing this I've marked up 3 ribs there and I've cut this square. The reason it's cut square is, again, is to minimise loss. So when you're rolling it, you're not trimming pieces off. So you cut it square so that you can keep a nice uniform piece of meat. On this cut of meat there, we've got the chuck tender or bowler blade, we've got the oyster blade, the blade roast and shin, and out there we've got what they call a clod, which is used for mince or gravy beef or such. He's actually now taken the shin off of the front or the front foot, whatever it is. Now that can be used in several ways. It's cut now up into osso buco. He's now going to take the bowler blade or chuck tender off. This bone can be used, split, and used for stock, right? So that's the actual oyster blade. This here is the blade itself. That there is the oyster blade steak. We've taken off the drag neck, because basically this is just an easier way for us when we do bone it to keep everything nice and trim. And we square the brisket across, so when we do bone it, if we're going to use it for rolling, as a rolled brisket roast. So that's the straight neck there. We'll trim it up, ready, and take the gland. There's a gland in there. What we've got left here is the Scotch fillet or rib eye or the rib set and the brisket and the chuck. We'll take a bit of the belly off the side and that thick fat out, but the rest will be left for straight into small bits. That piece there he's pulling out now is the piece of the skirt or the spleen of the animal that actually holds the stomach in, which we trim out. What Dale's doing is cutting up the neck bone, or chuck bone, which is sold in the supermarkets for soup bones and stock. What we're left with is the Scotch fillet or rib eye or a rib set. He's boning out the rib set. Right. He's removing the Scotch fillet now, or the rib eye, and that just rolls out. That's got part of the paddywhack on the back of it here, which is all got to come off there. And then we've got the Scotch fillet. So that's sliced out this way. The ribs are being trimmed out, fingered out, or try not to waste anything. So we'll take every bit of meat off the ribs we can possibly get. That's the shell blade of the animal. Normally that's taken in an export plant, it's not cut, it's all one thing, which is your blade bone, relating it back to yourself. And that's just used for, that cut there is the shell oyster blade. That's used for grilling or frying or dicing, and the rest is just trimmed up, ready for mince. And the rest goes in the bone. Bone is normally used in a meat wheel situation. It's cooked out at high temperatures. Next thing we'll take off is the rump and loin and the sirloin. That is a rump and loin or sirloin and a rump when it's joined into pieces. It's basically the T-bone, the rump and the sirloin end. That there is the T-bone. You can see there's the fillet steak there and the eye. That can either be done 2 ways. It's cut out as T-bones, which helps with the yield, or boned right out, or it becomes porterhouse steak. The bottom end he's boned out the rump and sliced it out ready for sale. And he's got also the trimmings there for mince too. Dale's slicing the porterhouse, which is another high value cut. Dale's cutting the T-bones. We're left here with a knuckle or round, the silver side and the top side, and the shin. And that's the round or knuckle. And I'll go over and get further trimmed. That's the round or knuckle. Anything to trim off that can be used as diced. You can take all the seams off it. We can use it as barbecue steak. He's slicing now the top side out. Any pieces that aren't suitable for slicing, naturally he's putting it into diced steak. And the rest will be sliced right down for actual steaks. What we're left with is the silver side and the heel muscle and the piece of the shin. So that's the silver side left entirely, but now it's got to be trimmed up. And we'll go over here. Now that cut of meat is used for corning, pot roasts, or we can take what they call a girello, which is the eye or the silver side off, and that could be used for barbecue steaks, anything like that. What we do is just take now the marrow bone off, which again is trimmed up, and that normally is split and sold for dog food, soup bones. As you see, the aim is to get a maximum amount of meat off the bone so that you've got minimum waste, but you don't return a lot for the bone. Dale is boning the shin out. Again, that's sliced out for mince or gravy beef, and that in turn can be used for a casserole stew or, as I said, mince. Well, basically that's all the basic cuts out of an animal, but naturally the other half will be just duplicated. We've got all the grilling cuts, wet dishes cuts, roasting cuts, and we've got the waste here in tubs. The white Nelly tub is used for the small goods, and the blue tub is used for the premium grade mince, and the round tub, white tub there, is basically the fat and will be discarded as fat and bone. That there is fat, which is a waste, which we'll weigh out now for the sake of the costing.